The invitation sat untouched on my kitchen counter for 2 full weeks before the follow-up call came. Vanessa's annual summer gala at the Harbor Club. Black tie, 200 guests, the usual parade of the city's ultra-important. My name had been printed on the list. Past tense. Claire, I should be upfront, Vanessa began, concern laced with that familiar velvet condescension. Michael and I are just worried you'll feel out of place. The crowd has gotten very sophisticated this year. Diplomats, executives, Michael's international contacts. You know how you can get a bit overwhelmed. Morning light stretched across my small apartment while I stirred my coffee. I see. It's not personal, really. Michael's trying to build serious connections. The Kenyan ambassador will be there, EU trade delegates, a Saudi investor. They speak multiple languages and debate global policy. I'd hate for you to feel lost. I thought of the meeting I'd led the day before, briefing senior diplomats on East African trade strategies, of the Kenyan ambassador asking for me by name. I understand, I said. Exactly, I knew you would. You're always so reasonable. Not everyone is cut out for high society, and that's perfectly fine. You have your little translation job and your peaceful life. Stick with what fits. My little translation job, senior interpreter and cultural liaison for the U.S. State Department, but I never corrected her, never mentioned the classified briefings, the negotiations, the clearance level she couldn't even imagine. Thanks for being honest, I said. You're a gem, and please don't worry about a gift. I know budgets can be tricky. Love you. She hung up before I could reply. That was 3 weeks ago. Since then, her Instagram had delivered a daily highlight reel of extravagance, Valentino couture fittings, imported orchids, a 5-tier globe cake celebrating Michael's international vision, seating charts conspicuously cropped, no trace of me. Derek noticed. Isn't that your sister? Her gala's the same night as the reception we're hosting for the Kenyan delegation. What a coincidence, I'd said lightly. Your leading interpretation, right? Ambassador Omandi specifically asked for you? Does your sister know what you actually do? I only smiled and went back to translating from Swahili. The morning of the event dawned bright and warm. At State, we finalized the rollout of a major partnership initiative. High-level EU reps and top corporate investors were flying in to hear it. Claire, the ambassador wants you there by 7, Margaret said. He insists you're the only one who fully understands the business customs involved. I'll arrive by 6:30. My phone buzzed. Claire, last-minute florist chaos. Just calling to wish you a quiet night. Order takeout, watch a movie, something simple. Love you. Click. I applied a sleek line of eyeliner, pinned my hair into an elegant updo, and called for a car. The reception was at the Meridian, a short walk from the Harbor Club, the same glittering harbor shared by 2 very different evenings. I stepped inside at 6:20. Ambassador Omandi stood near the entrance, smiling warmly. Claire, he greeted, switching effortlessly into Swahili. Thank you for arriving early. I wanted to run through key points before guests arrive. We spent 20 minutes fine-tuning his remarks, translation nuances, name pronunciations, cultural context. His chief of staff, David Kamani, joined us with a tablet of expected VIPs. Several U.S. business leaders will be here, Ambassador Omandi said, including a Mr. Michael Chin. His firm is interested in Nairobi infrastructure. You know him? He's my brother-in-law, I said evenly. Wonderful, then you can help facilitate introductions, though I assume you've already discussed opportunities with him. I smiled politely. Michael had no idea I worked in global trade, or that I'd helped design the initiative he was eager to exploit. By 7, the room buzzed, diplomats, executives, government officials weaving conversations into the rhythm of clinking glasses. At 7:15, I spotted them. Michael first, sleek tuxedo, confidence dialed to full. Then Vanessa, Valentino couture and diamonds telegraphing importance. They swept the room, Vanessa's gaze hunting influence. Her eyes skimmed past me twice without pause. To her, I was just event staff in evening black. Ambassador Omandi touched my arm. Claire, we should greet the new arrivals. There is Mr. Chin. Yes, Your Excellency. We crossed the room. Conversations hushed as the ambassador approached. Mr. Chin, he said, offering his hand. Ambassador Francis Omandi, we appreciate your presence this evening. Michael leaned in with polished charm. Ambassador, thank you. I've been eager to discuss infrastructure opportunities in Nairobi. Before business, the ambassador said gently, I must acknowledge the person who made tonight possible. He turned toward me, his smile warm. Clare led the development of this partnership. Her expertise in regional trade and cross-cultural negotiation has been indispensable. Without her, none of this would exist. Vanessa's head snapped toward me, confusion, recognition, shock. Michael blinked. Clare works with you? Mr. Chin, the ambassador replied. Clare is our senior cultural liaison for East African affairs, one of the department's most valued advisors. I requested her personally for this mission. Oh, Michael's voice faltered. I wasn't aware. Vanessa's face had drained of color. Clare, you told us you did translations. I do, I answered lightly, just not the kind you meant. David arrived with champagne. Clare, the EU delegation just checked in, they need you. Something about tomorrow's trilateral. Of course, I turned to the ambassador. Shall we greet them? He offered his arm. We moved away, leaving Vanessa and Michael staring after us. For the next hour, I flowed through my element, interpreting between the ambassador and German trade officials, bridging introductions between Kenyan entrepreneurs and American investors, switching languages as easily as breathing. And wherever I went, Vanessa's eyes tracked me, shaken, recalibrating. Margaret found me mid-conversation. Clare, someone is insisting on seeing you, says she's your sister. I'll handle it. I found Vanessa tucked into a quiet corridor, composure splintering. Clare, she burst out, what is going on? You work for the State Department, you know ambassadors, you negotiate actual policy, and you never told us? You never listened, I corrected softly. You heard, translator, and decided that meant something small, something beneath you. Vanessa opened her mouth, closed it. I translate, I continued, at the highest levels of diplomacy. That still wasn't enough for you to ask a single real question. How were we supposed to know? Her voice cracked. You could have cared, that's all. Instead, you told me to stay in my little lane. You uninvited me, to protect me from feeling out of place. I didn't mean. You meant exactly what you said. You've meant it for years. Her silence confirmed the truth. Michael needs to make connections with these people, Vanessa snapped, desperation leaking through her polished tone. The ambassador, the EU delegation, these are contacts he's been chasing for months. And you knew them the entire time. I work with them, I said, that's different than using them. And you didn't think to help your own brother-in-law's business? I stared at her. 3 weeks ago, you uninvited me from your gala because you thought I wasn't sophisticated enough. And now you're upset I didn't volunteer to be Michael's networking arm? I raised a brow. Do you hear yourself? That's not fair. This is family helping family. Family doesn't cut family out because they don't seem impressive enough. An event coordinator hurried over. Miss Hayes, the ambassador needs you on stage for the announcement. Thank you, I said, gently removing Vanessa's hand from my wrist. I have work to do. I stepped onto the low stage behind Ambassador Omandi as the room fell silent. Ladies and gentlemen, he announced, tonight, we celebrate a historic partnership between Kenya and the United States, pioneering sustainable development and shared prosperity. I interpreted seamlessly, $50 million, years of impact. Then he turned toward me. This partnership would not exist without Clare Hayes, he continued. She has not only translated words, but ideas, respect, and trust. A wave of applause rose, cameras flashed. He fastened a hand-beaded Kenyan bracelet onto my wrist. I thanked him in both Swahili and English. Across the room, Vanessa stared at me as if meeting a stranger. Michael calculated quietly beside her. Deals bloomed around us, introductions, promises, possibilities in motion. I drifted from conversation to conversation, 3 languages, 1 mission. At 9 o'clock, Michael approached. I owe you an apology, he said. I've known you 6 years and never asked what you actually do. Yes, I said calmly, you never did. My firm is chasing the Nairobi contract. I didn't know you were part of it. I know, I've reviewed your proposal. His eyes widened. You have? I advise on whether international partners show cultural respect. I paused. Yours assumes Kenya is interchangeable with any other market. It isn't. Would you help us revise it? I don't work for private interests. If you want that contract, listen, hire Kenyan experts. Invest in the relationship, not just the profit. He nodded, humbled. Finally, Vanessa joined him. You're still angry about the gala. I'm not angry, I said, I'm just not pretending anymore. Later, Ambassador Omandi clasped my shoulder. When we expand to Tanzania and Uganda, I will be asking for you again. That means a great deal, I said. My phone buzzed. Vanessa, I'm sorry, the gala, the things I said, all of it, can we talk? I accept the apology, but if we talk, things need to change. Vanessa, they will, I promise. I didn't answer. Promises are easy, change is hard. Back home, I set the bracelet on my dresser. Tomorrow, I'd brief the secretary. Next week, Geneva. After that, maybe Nairobi again. I hadn't been too simple for their world. They had just never looked deeply enough to see mine. By morning, photos of the event had gone public, me beside Diplomats, the bracelet bright against my wrist. One headline read, "The interpreter behind the international breakthrough." Mom called, breathless. "Sweetheart, why didn't you tell us you were doing this kind of work?" "I tried," I said gently. "No one wanted to hear it." A pause, and then, "You're right, and I'm proud of you. It wasn't everything, but it was a start." I pinned the bracelet to my blazer and stepped outside. Some people chase sophistication. Some merely perform it. And some of us, we build the bridges that make it real.